Okay, Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to call to order the first regular monthly meeting for 2026 of the Haymarket Town Council. This evening, Monday, January 5th, 2026. Roll call, please.
Fasenello,
Present.
Larson,
Here.
Gallagher,
Here.
Pater,
Here.
Capsella,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Fiona.
Here.
Will you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Somebody has my old chair. I can hear it.
That's probably this one. Just heard it.
All right. At this time, I would like to invite the Reverend Sean Rousseau from St. Paul's Episcopal Church to the podium to give this evening's invocation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be here with you tonight. It's an honor to be here to witness the Haymarket Police Department receive recognition for their accreditation. It's an awesome accomplishment. My son-in-law is a police officer in Fairfax County, so I have someone in my family who serves in that way too, and I have a tremendous respect for you as you protect and serve. Let us pray. Almighty God, whose great power and eternal wisdom embrace the universe, watch over the Haymarket Police Department in their noble profession. Father in heaven, give them strength, courage, and perseverance to endure any danger they may encounter in their profession. Give them wisdom, conscience, and compassion with every person they encounter every day as they invoke their training and experience to bring about the best outcome in every situation. Give them steadfast purpose that they may faithfully serve to promote justice and peace for the well-being of the people of our neighborhoods. May the strength of God guide them, preserve them as they answer their call to serve. May the wisdom of God instruct them and watch over them as they advance justice. Unite them safely with their families after their duties ended each day. We pray for their families, their professional family, for their ongoing support, friendship, solidarity, their personal family, for their understanding and flexibility as they help them with the stress of their work and schedule. And we pray for ourselves, that our respect and appreciation of these officers will be made known to them every day. We ask this prayer and all the prayers we hold in our hearts. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. We are honored to have Commissioner Chief Scott Ventruce and Todd Klingenteel attending this evening's meeting and acknowledging our Haymarket Police Department with achieving state of accreditation. Thank you. If I slaughtered the last names, I am incredibly sorry.
Madam Mayor, members of council, you did not slaughter my last name. Thank you for having us tonight. We really appreciate it. My name is Todd Klingenteel. I'm the program manager for the Virginia Law Enforcement Professional Standards Commission. Back in November, between the 17th and 18th, we sent a group of highly trained assessors to your police department to take a look at all aspects of your police department. And when I say all aspects, they looked at administration, operations, training, and personnel. They inspected equipment. They inspected vehicles. They interviewed your police officers and civilian personnel as well as citizens throughout the area. They looked at over 193 standards and over 570 bullets, individual bullets, that your police department was looked at to try to achieve an accreditation. They conducted a ride-along with Sergeant Donald Finley. What they found during that ride-along was a sergeant and an officer who was highly dedicated to community policing. His interaction with the public, he talked about what the chief's expectations are and what the citizens' expectations are for their police department. That they would like to see him out not only on vehicle patrol, but foot patrol, and to spend time interacting with the people and the visitors within your community. The assessors thought that that was such a fantastic thing to say, but they also witnessed it.
And that made them feel really, really good about the situation. They said that everyone that they encountered within the organization was thoughtful, dedicated, and their main goal was serving the citizens of your town and all the visitors that come here. You don't see that across this country, and you don't see it across this Commonwealth, those words being said. And that's something that you all should be very proud of, that they had the highest regard to community policing. And they went out there each and every day trying to make the town a better place. There's over 400 agencies here in the Commonwealth that are eligible to become accredited. Currently, there's only 115 that have been able to achieve that status. Your police department, with about 8 full-time sworn personnel and 1 civilian, as well as about 4 part-time personnel, worked extremely hard at this. But one of the things that our assessors found is they were genuine throughout the entire process. It wasn't putting on a show. They showed them actually who they were, who the town was, and who the town represented. And I thought that was fantastic. It's a testament not only to your police department, it's a testament to this council, it's a testament to the citizens here within Haymarket. And I think that's something that is something that everyone should be proud of in this room. We're fortunate tonight to have Chief Scott Vantrease. He is one of our commissioners, and I'm going to turn the podium over to him because I'm sure he has some fine things to say as well. Thank you for my time.
Members of council, thank you very much. I know you have a busy night. I won't hold you long. In my role at DCI, I'm responsible for working along with about 100 sworn law enforcement rangers across the Commonwealth that are responsible for protecting 45 state parks, 69 heritage areas, Falkland Conservation Area. Almost 8 million guests last year visited Virginia state parks and heritage areas. And we protect 1.2 billion in infrastructure. It is an undertaking to its size as much as your department and its staffing and personnel that to undertake the same accreditation. It's a monumental task, and you need to understand that. I was honored when I took this job that my agency held accreditation. We're getting ready to go through our 4th cycle coming up. It'll be our turn. But one of the things that this also shows, as Mr. Klimpa said, is a dedication to the community, to the people, to community policing. One of the things as I went through the packet, Chief Siebert and I have a parallel. We actually started as deputy sheriffs, same year, 1989, different states, different locations. And I will tell you that we've come through the ranks seeing policing in many styles and challenges and changes in policing methodologies. Community policing has been constant since I started in one form or another. And to have an agency remain dedicated to making sure they interact with the community around them is a huge undertaking. It is a dedication of itself, and it's something that comes natural to good police departments, good leaders within the organization. We've seen a policing profession that's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But what accreditation pushes towards is it allows the profession as leaders to continue the desire to continually improve what we do with our organizations. And your chief is no exception to that, and his staff undertakes it daily, as many of you probably already know. It's cliche, but we want to protect and serve. Accreditation is important. It's not the reason why Haymarket PD does what they do. It's verification that they provide law enforcement services at a high level and utilize the standards that can be systematically measured, evaluated, and updated in enhancing your community. It's not just a piece of paper that hangs on the wall. It's a piece of paper that hangs there to remind them what's in their soul, what's in their purpose, and the way they do business and how they operate and how they interact with people of the community. And also, very importantly, your guests and visitors that come to see this wonderful little town. I have family nearby. I've been here myself several times. You have a beautiful town, and it's through their dedication you keep it. It means a lot to them because it shows professionalism amongst their peers. The numbers that Mr. Klingenpeel gave you are, quite frankly, staggering. The number that could be versus the number that are, and your chief really should know that. At this time, I'd like to have the chief come up. Mr. Klingenpeel join me, and on behalf of the Epilepsy Commission, I'd like to present the certificate formally to the chief. And I'd love to have all you join, but it's difficult from where you sit because it's just as much yours as it is his and the men and women of his department.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it, buddy. I don't need to say anything, really. I think Mr. Klingenpeel said it all, but I think, and Scott and Chief Ventris, is that this is a testament to the department and the community and the council, which sees fit to support us. The town staff can't say enough good things about everybody's support. And I've said this many times, but I'll say it here, is in, it was Chief Ventris dating me from 1989. In my 36 years, this is the first jurisdiction I worked at where I have 100% support of the council or the board and staff, as well as all the employees. And that is almost unheard of today. And I don't think I would ever see it again to where you have that 100% support. And when you got guys like this that are working with you every day to achieve those goals, this is what's obtainable. And there was a lot of other things that we did during this time. I mean, we changed our RMS system in the same year. We got community safety cameras. We've done a lot of other things as well. And it's because of the dedicated staff that you employ here and that you support. So to town staff, to council, and the citizens, I accept this accreditation, but for everybody, not me, but for you all as well as my staff. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Sure.
I was
Yep.
gonna say a picture.
Sure. Get on up there, guys. Come on, guys.
I'd love to get in the picture.
Oh,
Council, you'd like to in that picture.
I'd like to get our elected officials.
Yes, along with the
Let's get our elected
Keep all those on your phone. I know you like each other. Yeah. Fill in the second row there, you guys. Yep. Go down. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Everybody say Alexi.
Okay. Sorry. One more. 2, 3.
All right.
Can't spend this one.
Charge card. Starbucks?
Starbucks. Just in case we go late.
Wonderful. What a, just,
You like one of those rollers in my jacket with all the dog hair that comes up on it. All right. So at this time, I would like to take a brief recess to celebrate this great accomplishment with our police department. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Again, so very proud of our police department. I would now like to invite Senator Danica Rome and Delegate Josh Thomas to the podium to give us their legislative report for 2026.
All right. Well, Madam Mayor and to the members of the council, so great to see all y'all in the new year. So thank you so much for having us back. This is my 9th General Assembly session, so that makes me a grizzled veteran. But we have an actual veteran in Delegate Thomas, who is going to be joining us up here as well. Now entering. Yeah. Now entering his 3rd year, which is great. I remember my 3rd year in the House. That was COVID year. So anyways, I'm keeping this relatively short, and there's a reason for that. Today is my 11th anniversary since my fiance and I started dating each other, and so I have to actually have dinner with family. That's the whole thing. Anyway, yeah, but I'm spending it with the Haymarket Town Council tonight because that's what a good senator does. All right, so to start with, previews of stuff. So I'm going to be filing somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 to 25 bills. It's a whole weird math system that they have this year. If you file bills that were submitted for drafting prior to September 30th, then you get 10 of those plus additional bills on top of this. But if you put in things after then you don't get these ones, blah, blah, blah. 22 to 25, that's roughly where we're going to be. I'm going to have about 5 to 6 of them are going to be related to either data centers or they are going to be related to transmission lines. And what the council should know here is, number one, thank you first, because you all have been really good advocates. What I will need from you when the time comes, particularly like either later this month or the next meeting that you have, is I will submit something to the council and say, I need the council's endorsement of this. For example, one of the bills I have now filed is one that restricts data center siting to industrial areas only. Now, that does not mean that we want the rezonings to go forward with either Digital Gateway or the brand new Dell South Innovation Center. No. What this does mean is that what happened at Village Place right outside of the town borders, that should have never happened in the first place. You should not be having industrially zoned anything or industrial anything directly behind people's homes. I think we can all agree on this, right? Okay, so that's a good start. I introduced the bill last year. Obviously, it didn't get out of committee, but that was the temperature check that I was taking there. And I'm like, okay, I got 3 more of them I need to win over in order to get this to the floor. I think I got 1 of them already. I got another 2 I got to get. And so, okay, I got time. I can work on that. Another one is the demand response bill that we have. Whole point of this is basically what we're trying to get here is that when demand surges, everything like this, number one, we're making sure that the data centers instead of our constituents are the ones who are paying for it. And 2, this is kind of allocating how energy is actually flowing out into the grid in the first place. This was a JLARC recommendation. I suspect there is another bill that will be coming down the hopper, as long as it is equal to or better than what I am putting forward. I'm willing to work with whoever that's going to be in order to get that rolled in and take care of business. For transmission line stuff, one of the important things that we've got to recognize here, and this directly affects the town, is what I want to have is, this is something that's coming out of the Braemar community in Bristow specifically, but you all should know about it because it will affect you as well. What I want to do is basically require local governments, this would include town, that you have to have a public hearing prior to willingly giving up public land for eminent domain that is tied to a transmission line. Now, why is that important here? All we're saying with this is the citizens need to be informed first. You all, as members, need as much information on your desk as possible before you make a decision. This slows down the train. This makes sure that everyone considers all relevant information first before you make that choice. This was more to the point with Prince William County and the Board of County Supervisors than it is with the town right now, but you all do have public property here. And in the event that someone comes knocking and they want eminent domain for Haymarket land, then this is going to be something where the citizens are going to have a chance to weigh in a very big way first, and that you all get the most amount of information that you need before that ends up happening. So I'll also have a bill in, I just filed it today, to make sure that data centers have to pay 100% of their contracted electrical demand needs. Basically, when they enter into a contract and they say, this is how much we're going to take, they got to pay for it 100%. Now, basically what's just recently happened is there's the idea from the SEC that can pay 85%. That's nice. But here's the thing, friends. How many of you all have ever gone to pay your energy bill and said, you know what? I think I'd like to pay 85% of that. That probably wouldn't go well, and you probably will get a very angry letter that follows. Then I have to ask, why isn't the industry being treated the same way? If that's what our constituents deal with, if that's what we deal with as ratepayers, that's what they should be dealing with. Full stop. And the reason, well, why contracted? Because that doesn't also necessarily mean that they'll end up having to take all of that if blah, 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 blah. Number one, that's going to make sure that any transmission infrastructure that you're asking for in the first place, you're only going to ask for it if you really need it in the first place. Number two, you're going to have to be really particular about what it is that you're projecting, and your numbers are going to have to be really airtight instead of just expecting that the people, the ratepayers, are going to be the ones who pick up the bill for you, because that's the way this has gone, and it's gone on for too long with this. So this is not the majority of my portfolio, but it is a plurality of my portfolio of what I'm working on. Now, other things. The Senate has actually prioritized my bill SB4. First time I've ever had a low number bill in 9 years. Woo! SB4, universal free school breakfast. Big deal for Battlefield High School, big deal for Reagan High School. Here's the thing, Tyler already has this. Tyler already has free breakfast and lunch. This will cut down on school meal debt coming out of those two schools. It'll be a good chunk, from several $100s easily from each school. But the real driver of that debt are families who fall just outside of the free and reduced threshold in the first place, accruing lunch debt in particular. We do breakfast now, we come back for lunch. Now, we have a bunch of states right now have done universal breakfast and lunch. We've got 2 states that have done universal breakfast. Pennsylvania, which has a Republican Senate, Democratic House, Democratic governor, and the very, left-wing liberal state of Arkansas with its Republican governor and Republican supermajority, they have universal breakfast. I'm like, I think it's time for Virginia to catch up to Arkansas. If anyone wants to push back on me on this one, please, I await your questions. Next, we also want to make sure that school meal debt is reallocated at the end of the school year back to the school division as opposed to individual schools. This is a practice Prince William County adopted in the last 2 years, and it's a good model that we can use statewide. Beyond that, we also have one, remember back in the days we used to have DMV transactions that happened here in Town Hall? Oh, that was an experiment, wasn't it? That was fun. Fun while it lasted. But anyways, the idea from this that I'm bringing back this year is that every time you go to make a DMV transaction, when the little thing comes up at the end, just like if you were at Hidden Jewels right before, just like I was right before I got over here, and it says, "Hey, do you want a tip? Whatever percent." And I'm a good tipper. I hit the high dollar one. But here's the thing. We know that the Virginia Highway Safety Improvement Program is chronically underfunded, has been for years. There are billions of dollars in unmet needs right now, including in this area, the Route 15 flyover over at the railroad tracks. That is my big priority push for this area in particular. We need more money going to VHSIP. And so what I've proposed and putting back on the table this year, after the governor vetoed it last year, is that you can make voluntary donations when you're checking out at the DMV. So if you're getting your license renewed, you're doing your vehicle registration, hey, do you want to donate $1, $2, $3 to VHSIP? I think we're going to have a lot more people who say yes than you might think. And I also think that it'll be at least a new dedicated revenue stream, even if the number is going to be unpredictable year to year, where we can actually start using that for innovative intersection designs that save lives. We did have a significant decrease in traffic fatalities this last year, but we are still at 785 and counting as of this morning, because those numbers are still going to be rolling through in the next couple of weeks before that final data is out, which means that, that's still a higher number than we had in 2016. And if it hits 800 like I expect it to do, it'll probably be the 9th consecutive year that we've had at least 800 fatalities on Virginia roadways. This is why I care about this, and everyone should. Finally, Haymarket has been so good, and one of the few jurisdictions anywhere, municipalities anywhere in Virginia that's been so good about not charging people for Freedom of Information Act responses. So thank you for being the good egg. I'm bringing that bill back, as you might have seen in the Virginia Mercury, which was then shared with Inside Nova, Prince William Times, Potomac Local, all the rest of them. I'm bringing that bill back again, like 6th time. It's gone through the FOIA Advisory Council twice now. And I'm doing this for one of 2 reasons. Either number one, I think walls are really good when they have a forehead-shaped dent in them. So when I hit my head against it every single time, or you never give up on a good idea. And I'm not going to give up on a good idea, because the idea here is that FOIA fees should only be covering the actual cost that it takes to deal with a FOIA request in the first place. These are public documents that the public dollar has already paid for. Our responsibility is to treat this as essential government service as opposed to an administrative burden. We've all been hit with FOIA requests. We all fulfill them. We do our jobs, and we have a nice day, and we don't scream and holler about it. Just got a text from a reporter right before I got in here saying that someone in Alexandria just got hit with a FOIA fee of more than $2,500. Constant. Why? Because we can't do a Control F on our keyboards. Is that too hard? So this is where we're at. This is our constant dealing. Beyond that, we'll have 4 constitutional amendments that we're dealing with. One is going to be about redistricting. That one, the very partisan thing that's going to come up. Just so you know, the whole point of that is for us to offset what North Carolina's done after California offset what Texas done. It's a race to the bottom. I hate doing it. And at the same time, this falls under the line, if you're in my party, of we did not ask for this fight, we did not start this fight, but we will finish it. That's the idea. It will expire in 2030, the constitutional amendment that will come up for the referendum this year, which means that this would be in effect for the 26, 28, and 30 cycles. And then it would go back to the normal redistricting stuff from before. Other ones are for reproductive rights, marriage equality. I have a ring. I would sure like to be able to get married and not have a thing in this Virginia Constitution that says that that's bad. And the last one is automatic restoration of voting rights. Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to Delegate Thomas, and then if y'all have questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end.
You got a hot date. You want to take questions now?
I do.
At least you don't want to go.
Delegate Thomas has informed me that, as I previously mentioned, I do in fact have a hot date tonight. So, questions from council?
Anybody have any questions?
I have one.
Yeah, what you got?
You answered my FOIA question, so thank you for that
Cool.
one.
Yeah.
I've heard a rumor about Virginia Power trying to acquire Novak.
Yeah, I have two. So
What's, I mean, that
I don't think
takes
it's,
away competition in my eyes.
so, Madam Mayor, I would tell the council member, I don't think it's just a rumor that's been swirling around in some reports. I also know that there are some Dominion folks now working at Novak. I don't know if that was related or anything, but I can tell you as a lifelong Novak customer, or, from the time where I was a little kid growing up in Manassas, where my mom would drive to the Novak office to drop off the actual bill, to now being a Manassas Park resident and paying my Novak, bill. I will tell you with that, that's not going to be popular whatsoever. We like our local op, and we sure do not. And I know that Dominion is, has to give the energy infrastructure goes, from Dominion to Novak. We live in co-op territory for a reason. Bought homes outside of Dominion turf for a reason. For a lot of us who have this, I know this area is a little bit different, but not thrilled about it. Don't know if there's a way to prevent it legislatively or administratively or anything, but it is a sort of thing that I'm absolutely alerted about, for sure.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Hey, Senator Rome, good to see you again. Can you just speak a little bit about JLARC and whether that is a bipartisan? I know it's a joint legislative group.
Yeah.
But is there bipartisan effort involved in that?
Oh, so actually, so Madam Mayor, I would tell the council member here that JLARC itself, the actual staff members who do the research and everything, that is officially a nonpartisan government, government affiliated agency. That's the way I would put that. That said, there are legislators who are on JLARC itself that are not the ones who are the researchers. So for those who don't know, the Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission, they're who we go to when we say we need a study about blank. Great example. JLARC studies are not always very easy for legislators to get. I did get one before, I actually gotten two now. But the main one I got from my own initiative was to research guardianship, court-appointed guardianship for incapacitated adults in Virginia. This is a huge undertaking, and they came back with a whole lot of recommendations. I actually have some guardianship bills I'll be dealing with this year as well, but I haven't filed those yet, so when the time comes. Anyways, officially, the work that is done by JLARC is they hire analysts, reviewers, researchers, and those folks, when they were doing their data centers in Virginia study, they came here to Haymarket, they went down the street to Village Place, they took a picture of the one at Village Place, and they highlighted it on a page of here's some bad examples of land use or of land siting. And I was so excited to see my district being shamed in a JLARC report because of bad choices made by our Board of County Supervisors over its many iterations, whether it's been Republican-led or Democratic-led. Those bad ideas have not known party in that case. What I would say instead is I am very confident that the work that JLARC has been done with integrity, and they are invariably going to miss some things. They are just going to be publishing a report with recommendations and options for legislators to be considering at the end of the day. So for example, the Sierra Club, after JLARC's data center one came back, they came up with their own recommendations that were, and other research that was even, like more thorough, right? That's fine, but they at least, when JLARC at least comes in front of a committee, legislators give them a lot of credibility. And so their word does carry clout. That said, here's the problem. People cherry pick out of JLARC reports all the time. And so this is true. The data center folks who went to kill my bills in 2024 during committee when they were testifying against him were like, oh, no. There's a JLARC report that's going to be coming out this fall. You shouldn't do anything on this until the JLARC comes out. JLARC report comes out. I then put in bills that were directly from recommendations from the JLARC report. And they go, oh, no, we can't pass these now because, that would make us have to pay more money. That's what happens in the General Assembly. You see this happen all the time. And the fact that my hairline does not look like the good paisans.
I'm very jealous of you.
Yeah, it is sheerly luck at this point.
I do have a follow-up, though. On the transmission lines, you
Yeah.
were talking about requiring a public hearing, which I think is phenomenal. It's kind of like what we did a number of years ago, and you led the bill to do that with the planning commissions if we're going to shrink the time. So,
My first bill.
I'm sorry?
That was my first bill.
Yeah, it was an excellent bill.
Yeah.
So is that for new systems, or is that going to also include expansion of existing systems?
Well, okay. So, Madam Mayor, I would tell the council member here that if you are dealing with public land subject to an eminent domain request, which is different because utilities do not have a right to exert eminent domain over public land. They can do that over commercial and residential properties, but they cannot do that over public land. That will not affect things that have already happened, but things that have not been decided by July 1 of this year, it would affect.
All right, thank you for that clarification.
Yep.
And I have one. Yeah, the DMV support for road infrastructure bill that you're doing, has it been vetted out to how the funding distribution would be, so that if one area contributes a lot more, are they going to see the returns, or is it going to be spread across the state?
So, Madam Mayor, I would tell the former mayor that the bill itself does not address how VHSIP allocates its revenue. However, if we start seeing that there's a bunch of money coming in from a particular area, that also does mean that more money will be available for the areas having the most number of requests for infrastructure improvements. Northern Virginia will probably be the highest contributor and will also probably have the highest amount of need. And so I suspect that, look, if a modern roundabout, it would choose to cost $1.5 million. If some of these are going for $4.5 million now, if enough donations come in a year just to cover that, great. We can still reduce the number of conflict points from 36 or 42 down to 8, just from having one simple modern roundabout. And by the way, the one we have that leads into town here, not great design. It kind of looks like the little teacup coasters that you go at when you're at the Prince William County Fair, and that kind of goes like this. But the idea was right. Just
Anyone else? No? All right.
All right,
Thank you
cool.
so much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, members of council. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go
Happy
get dinner.
anniversary.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Daytime. All right, well, good evening, Town Council, Delegate Josh Thomas, and it is a real privilege to represent the entire town of Haymarket in the Virginia House of Delegates. I'm going to try to do all this from memory. I'm hopped up right now on Monsters and coffee because I have a 15-month-old and It was a short night last night, so if I need my cheat sheet, I'll whip that out. But I'll just talk about 4 real themes to the legislation I'll be bringing that pertains in part or directly to the town. First one is going to be data centers. Then we'll talk about housing. Then we'll talk about veterans. Of course, we have a very high population here in the town and Western Prince William County, and then a special category that I'll get to at the very end that affects the whole population. So first, we're talking about data centers. The nice thing as your Data Center Reform Coalition continues to grow rapidly in the House and somewhat in the Senate is that your delegate and your state senator don't have to be the ones carrying all of the data center bills each year. So I'm only carrying 3 this year because our coalition has grown so rapidly that I now just hand them out to eager delegates who want to see change in this arena. So the only 3 that I'll be talking about are the first one, which will be a redo of House Bill 1601, which I explained to you exactly 1 year ago from this podium. It was the data center reform bill that made it the furthest through the legislature. It made it through both the House and the Senate. Governor Youngkin vetoed it. I have very good authority that a new governor will be in town by the time this bill reaches her, and she smiles upon the concept of the bill, which is, in short, there's a mandatory and a permissive element to it. I won't get into all of it, but it's when a local government is reviewing whether or not to site a data center, they now have to look at the sound impacts if there's a residential component, and then also the utility needs to provide them with more information about where is this infrastructure going to be located, particularly like substations and things like that, which we already thought was probably happening and it was not. So great to have that available to our local government so they can make really solid decisions. Second one, generators. This one comes to me when I think of this issue, I actually think of Tyler Elementary School. And so we have the Village Place Technology Park not too far away. We had an incident that we pretty sure was in Fairfax County this summer where there was a demand response problem in the PJM grid. And so they asked a facility to fire up their generators not for inspection, but to actually get the facility off the grid. And so those diesel generators fired up and put particulates into the air. And so what this bill would do is it would say, you need to declare by state law if you have to fire up your generators for anything other than the customary monthly 3 to 5 minute test that they do. And I think just to get that data out there so we know if our students, our homes, our constituents, our shared constituents are going to find themselves as the energy grid continues to get taxed, find themselves in demand response situations that are being handled by diesel generators, regardless of what tier they are. It's like clean diesel from Volkswagen. And then the last data center bill is a redo of another one of mine, which is House Bill 2027 from a year ago. This is a big grab, but it attempts to create a certificate program for the siting of any data center where the SEC would become involved at the point of siting to decide whether or not the energy needs from that data center make sense in relation to the overall grid. We're still in talks with industry on that one, so TBD on where it finally lands. It's not public yet. Moving on to housing, to keep the show moving. A lot of housing bills, but the 2 that I will talk about that pertain either directly or indirectly to the town. The first one has to do with Board of Zoning Appeals. So it used to work for many, many decades. I remember studying this when I was in law school because it was the old way, which is if you have a housing rezoning that is appealed by, say, a neighbor, doesn't like what happened, and so they file a case. It goes to BZA, it then goes to the circuit court, and then it would just go straight to the Supreme Court if it was a big enough deal and they granted writ. Well, we changed the law before my time, but about 5 to 6 years ago, that the Court of Appeals, which existed at the time, but Virginia just oddly didn't use for a lot of different cases, now got inserted back into the process for most types of appeals of any kind. So it went from being a relatively dormant court system to now one like most states where there's an appeals court below the Supreme Court. The problem is it was difficult to figure out how many cases would go there since it's most law now is now going there. And so it's really backed up. Well, the dollars and cents issue that's affecting your constituents is that now it's taking 14 to 18 to 20 months, even for semi-frivolous cases, to make it through the appellate court system. The government doesn't build housing in this country and in this Commonwealth and in this town. The private sector does. So if they're stuck for 2 years on a very frivolous case, they're going to take out debt in that process. They're going to have to put up more bond money. And in all that, they're going to have to recoup from the end user, which is going to be the renter or the home buyer. And so we have crystal clear examples from across the Commonwealth of individual home prices, what section of that was due strictly to an appeal from a neighbor, that a case that probably should have been dismissed, but the appeals process played out because there's an automatic appeal right to the Court of Appeals. So all we're doing is winding the clock back for the 5-6 years ago, just for residential housing. So data centers don't get this treatment. Factories don't get this treatment. It's just residential rezonings. And it's only because there's a housing crisis in every jurisdiction in the Commonwealth. And so there's a 5-year sunset. So the legislature can reevaluate after 5 years. Is this still a crisis? Do we still need this? The other housing bill is, again, I'm a commercial real estate attorney. So my question is, where's the money for these projects and how do we lower the cost of housing? There are 2 examples of states and localities that are being very, very creative. One comes out of Montgomery County, just across the river, and the other is my old home in Atlanta, Georgia. And I can't remember which one did which, but the state changed the code so that each locality could either become, if a deal was just about to work, but they needed a 1, 2, 3, 4% more of funding to make this deal work. There's affordable housing. It will allow the locality to either become a private investor or a private creditor, a lender, if you will, if they have an economic development authority that is already able to operate in that way. But now they can use that for individual housing deals that are affordable. So we'll put some guardrails on it, but it just allow a little more creativity to localities. Because if you haven't heard the word on the street, the legislature is a little ticked off at localities taking so long to put housing stock into the system, and is getting a little prescriptive. So I would try to think of ways to give localities more freedom to decide how they want to solve that problem. Third issue is veterans. We have a high veteran population in Western Prince William County and here in the town of Haymarket. If you're not aware of the Virginia Values Veterans Network, it is an app, as a digital platform that really brings together all of the fantastic services that the Department of Veteran Services here in Virginia offers our veterans. Again, that's VVN. I encourage you to tell your constituents about it. In the first 6 months, they already had 50,000 Virginia veterans sign up for it, which is amazing. I'm a big believer in a good idea is a good idea. And so while I come from a different party as the governor and the commissioner, I have to compliment them for an amazing achievement over the last 2 years of getting so many veterans on that platform and exposed to so many good resources that Virginia really is first in class for. So my bill would just be codifying the resources needed to keep VVN going into further administrations. And finally, to wrap it all up, a bill that on its face maybe only affects half the population, but I promise you its outcomes affect all of us. I have a bill that was announced by the Speaker of the House and the Chairman of the Democratic Party of Virginia in October. If passed, Virginia would be the first state in America that would have a permanent legislative commission on boys and men and the issues that affect boys and men. For those of you that don't know, there's a whole swath of very troubling statistics in Virginia specifically. 80% of Virginia suicides are men. Men struggle at an incredible rate to keep up to young women when it comes to college. We already see an extreme divergence in 5th and 6th grade. We see that social media is exacerbating some of the things we used to joke about boys wanting to run around more and things like that in the elementary school years. We're now seeing confirmed studies show that social media and brain fragmentation is exacerbating those differences to the point to where by the time, and you can talk to our local administrators, that by the time young boys get to 6th and 7th grade, they're already disinterested in education and can't focus for more than 30 or 45 seconds. So we would be the first state in America to have such a committee. Washington State tried it, couldn't get it done. California, Maryland, and Georgia, and a couple other states have committees that are about fatherhood or men's health, but nothing that is writ large on boys and men. The committee will look at family issues, the impact of social media, workforce development, K through 12, and family life. I think I said that one. And that wraps up the legislative agenda that would apply to the town. Any questions?
Does anybody have any questions?
Just a quick one on the generators.
Yeah.
Do you have a bill number for that yet?
No. So I have introduced publicly 0 bills, but I think tomorrow, if you check in the morning, it will probably post.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. And if it doesn't, I'll get Ryan in the back. Okay. Perfect. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Anybody else? No?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, can you please remind me, VVN stands for?
Virginia Values Veterans Network. The Virginia is optional, so I guess you could say it's 3 Vs, but Values Veterans Network.
Okay.
Yes,
And
Madam
that,
Mayor.
and that is an app that is existing.
It's a digital platform as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, well, it's on a desktop as well, but it's also an app form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
You brought up social media when you were talking about
Mhm.
the boys and men. I know January 1st, there was limits put on for children ages 16 and under.
You're talking to the guy who wrote the bill.
So how do we police that? Is it reliant on the parents?
Right. So there's, how do I say this? Because if you had asked me that question 2 weeks ago, I would have given you a different answer. Well, because on January 1st, I had a number of our co-constituents that we both represent either text or message or email the office and say, it was screenshots saying, hey, my child's on Instagram right now. They're 14. And it just says, you've been on for an hour. Want to keep playing? Basically is what it said. And so we've reached out to Meta, which is the company for that particular platform, but we let all the platforms know that said, hey, this isn't what the law said. I don't know if you noticed, but session's starting in like 3 weeks. I can still submit more bills. We can just go back to the pre-negotiated form, which is much more strenuous, which the industry did not like and fought vehemently to not have. And so I'm standing right now, if they can't fix it by January 13th, and I know they have the money to fix it by then, if they can't fix it by then you'll see more legislation to really tighten the screws down more. I think to directly answer your question, even if that happens, how do we enforce it? So the Attorney General can just sue them for millions and millions of dollars for lack of compliance. When it comes to what was the idea behind it and how do parents enforce that, I think parental rights was a big piece of it, that we wanted to empower parents to have that decision-making authority. So the platform has to come up with an actual age verification system. It can't just be the old, are you 18 and above to go to this brewery website, or 21 or above or whatever, and click yes. It cannot be that. There has to be some form of verification. So once they achieve that to a reasonable degree, then it's up to the parent to decide if that's 1 hour or 24 hours. Now, also up to the parent, if they want to tell their kids, they have that discretion. Could just tell them, oh, the legislature just said 1 hour. I'm sorry. Nothing I can do about it. That's up to you. They will go to school and probably find out that you do have that power. But the goal was to give you the power to fight back and say, this is what I think is healthy for my child, rather than the state coming and saying, your child only needs 1 hour, your child only needs 6 hours. Let's empower parents to do what's right for their children when it comes to social media, and give them a tool to fight back against the most profitable companies in American history. So,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
so
good evening.
much. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Marie Pinto from Leopold's Preserve White House Farm Foundation for this community's insight.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm just going to talk briefly about Leopold's Preserve, which is a park that my organization owns and manages just west of Haymarket off of Thoroughfare Road. I am the executive director of the White House Farm Foundation, and if you'll advance to the next slide, I've got a little bit of information about the organization. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We're not affiliated with the White House in Washington, D.C. We are named for this historic building, which is located at a farm in Luray, Page County, called the White House Farm. So that's where we get our name from. And our mission is written up there. It's a little small, but basically we're an educational foundation with a focus on conservation, local history, and wise land use. And if you'll hit the next slide. So Leopold's Preserve is one of the properties that we work at and we manage. And it's named for Aldo Leopold, who was part of the conservation movement in the early 20th century. He pioneered this idea of the land ethic, which is a caring relationship between humans and nature, trying to see humans as part of nature. And, the two things are inseparable and integral to each other. And this idea was really inspiring to our founder, Scott Pline, who is actually a real estate developer in his professional life, and in his personal life. He is the chairman of the foundation. He's one of the primary funders of our work. So that was his inspiration for making the foundation and then for the subsequent creation of Leopold's Preserve. He was able to create the preserve through his real estate company, Equinox Investments. Back in 2009, they purchased a tract of land, which is, if you'll go ahead to the fourth slide, this was the tract that they purchased. It was about 500 acres. Parts of it were zoned for rural crescent 10-acre lots. Parts of it, the dark purple up here, was zoned for industrial. And then the orange and yellow are office and mixed use retail. You can see it's kind of a funny shaped parcel, and right in the middle, there's that L-shaped development that was already existing when Equinox got involved and purchased the property. So that is the Villages of Piedmont 1 housing development. This map is kind of outdated, but I think you can see where the town is up there in the corner, and then you've got 15 down the middle, and then 55 up there on the north side. But so the idea that Scott and Equinox Investments had was to redo a little bit of this and not have that, the by right industrial and retail that was there right by the Villages of Piedmont. And they were really pleased to have a lot of community support for an idea of doing a clustered housing development on a small portion of this 300 acres and then preserving the remainder of the land as a conservation area. This was something that the community supported, especially once they realized that it was zoned for industrial right up there along 15, and that the town council supported at that time as well. So I know that they're very grateful for that support. And what eventually happened, if you'll scroll to the next slide, is they were able to see the project to completion. And so this little area here is the second housing development that went in. That was Villages of Piedmont 2. It matches the density of what was already there in BOP 1 with a mix of townhomes and single families. And then the remaining 380 acres was protected under a conservation easement, transferred to the White House Farm Foundation. So we are now the owners and managers of this property. And under the easement, there are certain restrictions. It can never be developed. There can never be any type of buildings put in there. It's pretty strict. And one of the restrictions is we have to maintain public trails for public access out there. And if you're not familiar with the conservation easement model, it's something that continues to remain in effect if we were ever to sell the land, if it were ever to be taken from us, whoever the subsequent owners are would have to follow those same restrictions. So in terms of the preserve itself and how it looks today, we have 7 miles of public trails out there. They're free to access. They're open every day. We estimate that we see about 20,000 visitors a year. And we also, as part of our charitable functions, host over 60 educational programs for the public, guided hikes and different types of meditation programs, homeschool programs for folks to enjoy out there. And we're really pleased to have been recognized by Department of Wildlife Resources for being an excellent spot for wildlife watching in Virginia. So if you'll hit the next slide. Oh, I put this in just to orient you a little bit because those maps were so outdated that you can see Haymarket Elementary down there in the bottom corner and the Carter's Mill development up there between the railroad and 55. And that star on the left-hand side is our public parking lot. So if you've never been there before, you would just head west on 55 and you would pass the Farm Brewery, you would pass the Thoroughfare Historic Park, and you would turn onto Thoroughfare Road, and that's where our public parking lot is. So if you go ahead, I just have a couple of slides about some of the fun things that we have at the preserve. So of course we have our trails. We're really pleased to offer 2 wheelchair accessible wetland overlook platforms out there. We received funding from the Virginia Outdoors Foundation to expand wheelchair access at the preserve, which was a really great project for us. I have to shout out our park manager. The foundation does employ a full-time park manager who oversees the property and does all of the trail maintenance. So he does it to such a high standard. Like there's a tree down, it's gone in a couple hours. He's really on top of it. And we're also very lucky to have a lot of volunteer support out there. So the trails are really excellent. And I will say, if you have not been there since 2022, when we hired him, the trails are in a very different condition than they were prior to having that full-time park manager. I'll give a quick plug. We do not allow bikes. So that's the one point of friction we sometimes get. The access is just by foot only. And obviously we'd like everyone to have their pets leashed. If you go ahead to the next slide, just a little bit about our habitats and wildlife. We have a huge variety of wetlands, grasslands, forests, which makes it a really excellent place for bird watching and wildlife watching because you have a lot of different habitats in a pretty small area. We also, as I mentioned, have been recognized by Department of Wildlife Resources. And we were so excited this fall to join the Old Growth Forest Network. So there's about 160 acres of the property that were recognized as part of the Old Growth Network. We also have a lot of historic features, so that's part of our mission is to promote local history. There were some Civil War troop movements that went over part of the property. After the Civil War, we do have some members of the historic thoroughfare community that lived on the Leopold's Preserve property. And we have them recognized with different interpretive signage around the different historic elements there. This is the one historic structure that still stands on the property. It's an old house from the early 20th century. We also have a few different farm structures, fences, and different kind of animal pens, as well as 2 historic cemeteries that we steward. For those who are interested in learning more about the history, we do have a 40-page report on the full history of the land that's available on our website that anyone can check out and read if you got a few minutes. A little bit about our educational programs. We do have programs every first Wednesday of the month. In the winter, they are indoor lecture series. So our next one is this coming Wednesday, the 7th. And then in the springtime, when it gets a little warmer, we'll transition those to outdoor guided hikes. We also do our guided hikes once per month on the weekends. We do homeschool programs twice a month during the school year, and different types of special events, trail races, forest bathing, nature journaling, and different types of things throughout the year listed on our website. I have to plug our volunteer programs. We are so blessed to have so many great volunteers that just are willing to spend their time out improving the property. In 2025, we had more than 150 volunteers who contributed more than 1,500 hours to projects at the preserve. So we host them every Friday morning, the 3rd Saturday of the month, and we do special volunteer programs around wildlife monitoring. And then the last thing I've got for you is just to plug some of our upcoming events. I would love to see any of you at the upcoming events. They're all free and open to the public, except the homeschool programs. You do have to be a kid to attend one of those. But on Wednesday morning, we will have a lecture from Potomac Riverkeeper about PFAS pollution in our waterways. On Sunday afternoon, we'll be celebrating Aldo Leopold's 139th birthday with a hike and some readings out in nature, and then a documentary about his life. And then at the end of the month, we have our weekend naturalist walk, which will focus on geology, the Triassic Basin, and the Bull Run Mountains. So that's it. Please feel free to check out our website or connect with me. I'm happy to answer any questions about the preserve or our work. And thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you. Does anybody have any follow-up questions?
Can I make a comment?
Of course.
Marie, thank you so much. I met Marie at the fair in September, and that was my first time there. I mean, I've been living here 11 years, well, 14 years. Let me check that. And I got a chance to be introduced to the area and finally got out there and did the hikes, and it's fabulous. I mean, it's right in our backyard too. And I never realized how beautiful it is.
Thank you.
It really is. And I like the idea that it's not, no bikes, not motorized, no motorized vehicles and what have you. It's just, you're out there to enjoy nature. So it's a beautiful preserve. And I don't know if anybody realizes it or not, but we had a former council member who was involved in helping develop this tract of land into a preserve. And his name was Supervisor Bob Weir. So, you know, Bob touched on a lot of stuff, and I think that was important to share with everybody tonight, that he, you know, was environmentally sound. So I do have a question. very quickly, about invasive species. Now, we all know we're being bombarded by a lot of different bugs like the spotted lanternfly. Are you finding a problem there as well?
We do have a lot of documented invasive species at the preserve, and actually a lot of our volunteer efforts go towards removing invasive plants on the property, particularly vines that can get tangled up in the trees and kind of shade them out and kill them. We do have the spotted lanternfly at the preserve. We've had it there for probably 3 years at this point. We've noticed this past summer, it seemed to be a lesser population than it was in '24. Our biggest success with controlling that has just been removing the tree of heaven. But they are adaptable. They can feed on grapevines, maple trees, and other things. So it's kind of one of those situations. At the preserve right now, we have the feeling it's going to go the way of the stink bug, that they're going to kind of find their balance eventually, but we're going to have to suffer through it a little bit as that's taking place. And some of the native wildlife are able to predate them.
Good. Well, that's great. I mean, I think it's fabulous. And my last comment is, I was thinking about the old saying, get outside, it's good for your insides. And I will attest to that. So if you want a testimonial, check it out. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Anyone else? No? Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time. I was just thinking I need to get out more. Yeah. All right. So now I would like to move on to citizens' time. Is there anyone wishing to address the council? Do we have any emails? No? All right. Thank you so much. All right, so we will move on to considering the consent agenda. We are starting on packet page 3 through page 56. Would anyone like to pull anything off of the consent agenda?
Yes, I would.
Mr. Passanello, what would you like? to
Thank you,
pull?
Mayor. I would like to pull the town administrative report and the police chief report.
Okay, we've got the town administrative and the police report. May I have a motion to approve the remaining?
Yes, Mayor, I move that the Haymarket Town Council approve consent agenda items A, 1 through 3, B, 2, 4, and 5, and C, 1 through 5.
Perfect. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one is opposed. All right, so we will move on to the pulled reports. Joe, was there something specific you wanted to address?
Well, I wanted to give our town manager an opportunity to speak about an important item.
Yes, thank you. So council, since we're at our regular January meeting, I wanted to take a moment to formally introduce Lydia, our town planner. So she is our new planner. She started a couple weeks back in December. Most of you have already met her at our work session or ARB or planning commission meeting, but I just wanted to take a moment tonight to reintroduce her, introduce her to the community as well. So she's with us every day in the office, so feel free to stop in, get to know her, chat with her. She is taking on the daunting task of a lot of organizing and going through some of our older land files, hopefully working with Kim soon on some record retention items. So getting us into shape with everything needed for land use. So we're excited to have her on board. So officially welcome. The second very quick note I just wanted to make today was the due date for the RFP for the park engineering services. It closed at 3 p.m. And when I got online and checked, we had 8 online submissions. And then I have a stack of about 6 to 7 in-person hard copy submissions. Some are duplicates there. They chose to submit electronically and a hard copy. So I'll be starting that review very soon. Not as many as the 13 that Vice Mayor had to do, but those packages sitting on my desk are large.
I still hold the record.
Yes. So I look forward to starting the review of those this week, and I will keep everybody up to date on where we stand with everything. So just the 2 quick updates there, unless there's any questions for me.
Any additional questions? No?
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
perfect. And then moving on to the police report.
Yes, wanted to give our chief an opportunity to speak since he didn't speak at the work session. and speak to his report. If you'd like to go up to the dais, perhaps, maybe?
Sure.
All right.
Why not?
Thank you. Yeah.
My apologies for not being able to do this at the work session, but due to the earlier nature, we weren't able to have our reporting schedule match the council's schedule. But thank you, Councilman Passanello, for giving me the time. And of course, I'll take questions afterwards if there's anything you see on there. You can look at our trending data, and we went through our 12-month period for 2025, ending in, we're staying really consistent with dispatch, our calls for service overall. As you might see in the last month, our dispatch calls for services were down, but our direct contact calls for service was up. So it's just an ebb and flow month is all that is. Overall, we stayed in line and consistent where our 3 to 4 year trend has been for December, almost nailing it to the call, quite frankly, which it is our lowest portion of the month. And during the holidays, that's always a good thing to have a low point if you're going to have a low point in any of your stats that you're tracking. Our business checks and foot patrols remained very static across the board for the 12-month period. Nothing out of line there. Our response time, average response time is staying consistent, exactly where it should be as far as I'm concerned, and I'm happy about that. Traffic stop trend data, again, about where it should be, up for the month of December. If you look at our 3-year track, but still online, along with our traffic violations and traffic violations to date, ending the year with 719 summonses written. Nothing has changed on our quarterly reports for the DMV grant. For our February, well, actually for our January work session, you will have the first quarter of the 2025-2026 DMV grant. Their first quarter data runs from October, November, and December. So our first quarter and their first quarter are kind of two different things. So, but you will see that data tracked in there when it comes to that time. Again, with that data, we only left about $500 on the table from the grant, which is a really good spot to be in. Moving on, arrests stayed static. Nothing earth-shattering there to report. Hours spent on calls for service was down. Of course, our calls for service in December are usually down, so that tracks very well. Out-of-town backup tracked pretty well across the year, except for the month of October, as you can see. But other than that anomaly, we've stayed pretty consistent as that. Backup support into our area has been a little bit over the board in the month of December. But again, ebb and flows with the complexity of the calls for service and availability of police officers on the street. Let's see here. Monthly traffic volume. You can see for the month of December in our tracking period, we were down a little bit in traffic, but that could be a lot of reasons. Obviously, sometimes people just choose to stay home, so, which is not a bad place to be sometimes. Let me get here. I had a little hiccup in my data here. There we go. Our speed data, as you can see, has stayed consistent. There we go. Computer's not wanting to cooperate with me today. You will see the biweekly there on when we were down and up, and then the times that we were tracking. And then if you look at the bottom, the one addition that I did make, other than making it verbal, I made it written. You can see if you're looking at our eastbound and westbound speed data, when it goes over to the static chart, that at the bottom you'll see the percentages by speed of how many vehicles overall that came through those speed locations were violating that mileage. And then again, the speeding data that you look there has stayed the trending is pretty consistent, other than the fact that we were down some vehicles in December of this year. Same goes for the westbound as well. You won't see any anomalies there. Everything is stayed pretty static. And then if you look at the projects the year you're in, and obviously with the accreditation, which was presented here today, we are continuing our planning of Senior Summit, which will take place on April 23rd, 2026. Vendor registration has opened for that, and we will have an article in the upcoming town paper that's going out on that project as well as accreditation. As you know, Sergeant Finley was honored at the annual MAT Awards with a MAT Award for his work on traffic enforcement and DUI reduction here in the town. The holiday bazaar went really well. From my viewpoint, from Santa's viewpoint, thought it was phenomenal, but nothing less than phenomenal when it comes to events and the planning that goes in it too by town staff here. And so great job on everybody's part there. We did apply for and receive, matter of fact, we got the actual letter just 2 days ago for the drone replacement grant, which is in the amount of $20,231. That's an exceptional amount of money. So we're going to use that wisely and bring that program up to where it should be, to where it's really beneficial to the town and the community. Our Operation Santa Claus went really well on December the 6th. It was great to have the mayor out. And of course, we saw some councilmen out and about that was, looking for some gifts from Santa, which they're all on a nice list. It's a good deal. By our calculations, we gave out almost 200 gifts that night to local youth in the community, and gave parents and children an opportunity to take pictures with Santa and the mayor and anybody else, so they didn't have to go to a mall somewhere and pay lots of money. So it's a very good thing that we do there in the town. It was very well received. We did advise that MPO James Galbraith was awarded Officer of the Year for 2025 for his work in a lot of departmental projects. And as informed you on the weekly report, part-time officer Michael Danielson stepped in position with Winchester Police Department, which is his former police department. He spent almost 30 years there. So he's closer to home doing the same thing he was doing here. But we also got him a little plaque and thanked him for his service here. Let's see, we did update our naloxone supply, which expires every 2 years. And we have partnered with the Virginia Department of Health since I've been here. So all that is free. The holders are free. The training is free. As a matter of fact, I am an instructor in it. And so that program costs the taxpayers here and the community zero. So we just have some tracking stuff that we do with the stock and make sure that we're good. We got our doses in well ahead of time before the December 31st expiration date of our current stock. We have entered into agreement with Motorola Solutions for in-car body-worn cameras. Project has a kickoff call on Friday with several stakeholders in that. And then we did have taser training just prior to Thanksgiving. And as you can see, we've completed all of our events schedules that we either partner with, take part in, or hold ourselves, which this year we have 42 on there, but there was actually a few more. We didn't get the COCO with Sergeant Finley on there and things like that, but it was a very good year for community engagement and a great year for events. And again, I know I've said it 100 times that events, we've come to find that phenomenal is the baseline for our staff that we have here that plans that. And so kudos to them. So any questions on any of that?
Anybody have anything? No? Yeah. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you guys again. And, the accreditation is a big milestone. It was a monumental task and it was a team effort. And I do appreciate everybody's support, not just you all, but town staff. We couldn't have gotten there without it. And with what Mr. Klingenpel said, 400 agencies in the Commonwealth. My calculations were about 330, but he's the guy that should know. And so over 400 and only 115 are accredited. So you can see that it is a monumental undertaking, and it's even harder to keep. But I do appreciate y'all's support. We could not have gotten there without it. And I know that when I was hired here, that was one of the things on the list. And it took us a little bit longer to check that box than I wanted to, but we're there. And I appreciate your all's understanding and your willingness to let me get us there in the due time that we needed to do it. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. And Lydia does a great job. She is a great pickup. So kudos to our town, man.
Thank you. All right, so moving forward, do I have a motion to approve the pulled reports?
Yes, Mayor, I move that the Haymarket Town Council adopt consent agenda items B1 and 3.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? No one's opposed? Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to the agenda items, and we only have two. The first item is Resolution 2026-001, the budget amendment. Is there any discussion prior to proceeding with the motion?
Yes.
Thank
I'll
you.
keep this brief. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I hope he's watching Utah.
You'll be getting a phone call shortly.
Yeah, I was just
Yes.
saying.
Yes. Okay, so this evening we're on packet page 57 here, if you want to jump ahead and follow along. So Roberto has proposed a budget amendment. So what we had previously discussed is that we're reallocating funding that was originally budgeted for the Washington Street Realty structure. It's no longer being leased out at this time. And so we're reallocating some of those funds to go towards the redistribution of 3 new tenant leases that we have for the upstairs space here on the main building at Town Hall. So that's the first item. And then you'll see on packet page 58, that's there at the top. And then there in section number 2, so the Haymarket Police Department received the HEAT grant for $10,000. This was after our budget was already adopted. And so you'll see this modification here of the money coming in under the revenue. And then it's going into the expenditure line of uniforms and police supplies. And then our third item here, and Chief is also happy to answer any of these questions on the PD part. But our third item here is that we were working through the purchasing of the new dash cameras for the vehicles and the body cams. There was the sale of the previous vehicles that brought in $16,900 of surplus funds. In speaking with our finance liaisons, we decided that a good expenditure of these surplus funds was to go into the capital outlay equipment line item for the expenditure of the cameras. So if there's any questions, Chief and I stand ready to answer. Just let us know.
Are there any questions? No? Nothing from finance?
Nope, we talked about it back in December, so.
Okay, awesome. So there is a draft motion on page 59.
Madam Mayor, I move the Haymarket Town Council to approve an amendment to fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as designated by Resolution 2026-001.
I'll second.
Perfect. So I have a motion and a second. Finance, so we need to do a roll call, please.
Oh. I have to do verbal. I'm sorry.
I can do by voice.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
So voting doesn't go that.
And one
Technological. I gotta pull it up. What's it, Muni code?
I don't-
Is it under Muni code? I gotta pull it up.
I don't know where it is.
Sometimes it's safe.
Haymarket voting. Let's go here. See if that gets me.
Yeah, who is this? Jake?
We do the other ones by roll call?
Yeah.
Okay. Casanello
Aye.
and Larson
Aye.
and let's see, Capicella
Aye.
and BNA.
Aye.
We're the only ones who.
I was just gonna say, I think you were really-
I wasn't set up.
Oh,
I had to go log in. I was in the process of logging in.
That's right. That was that experience.
Yes.
And the vote is recorded
Yeah, it is.
as accepted. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the Planning Commission vacancy appointment. The application's on page 62 of the agenda. Do we have a motion to make an appointment?
Page 62.
Do that. Madam Mayor, I move to appoint Mahmoud Omer to the Haymarket Planning Commission, filling the vacant seat held by Dave Capicella with the term expiring on June 30th, 2028.
Make a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll do roll call again. Fasenello?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Gallagher?
Aye.
Capicella?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Vianney?
Aye.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one that would not be able to figure it out. So let's just figure out. All right. All right, so this brings us to our next item on the agenda, and we will need to go into closed session. So may I have a motion, please?
You may. Madam Mayor, I move that the Haymarket Town Council go into closed session pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A8 for consultation with legal counsel regarding a specific legal matter requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel relating to a town lease agreement and the compensation study RFP.
I have a motion. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, good. It's going to be short.
All right, thank you. So we just came out of closed session. Let me put my microphone on, sorry. We just came out of closed session and need to certify.
Madam Mayor, I move that the Haymarket Town Council certify that in the closed session just concluded, nothing was discussed except the matter or matters, number one, specifically identified in the motion to convene in closed session, and two, lawfully permitted to be discussed in a closed session under the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act as cited in that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Casanova,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Gallagher,
Aye.
Hager,
Yes.
Capella,
Aye.
Bacon,
Aye.
Yanis.
Aye.
All right, and do we have a directive or motion from the closed session?
Yes, I would say that have the town manager to move as directed during the closed session.
You need anything else from us, Kim?
No objection.
No objections.
All right, awesome. All right, so that takes care of our agenda items.
Cool.
So we are on our way to council member time. So we will start with council member Casanova. Say it, Capicella. I'm gonna slaughter it every time.
It's okay.
No, you got to do it.
Capicella.
There you go.
Well, maybe if I do it like this.
Yeah,
like
Capicella.
Yeah, that's the one language you can't speak without hands, you know? Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I just remembered, council time here. First and foremost, Chief is no longer here. Just big thanks and congratulations to Chief and the town staff and everything for the accreditation here we received tonight. It's a great thing. I was shocked at how few departments actually have this thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some trade magazines. You just give a donation, you get in there, and it wasn't that at all, But yeah, hats off to the entire team that worked on that because it's a lot of work there. Julie is not here, so I can't thank her in person along with the rest of the town staff about the holiday bazaar as well. I mean, that was an amazing turnout there. Yes, she did have the correct amount of firewood there. We tried to burn through it quick, did we not? We tried to go through it quick so I could say, we're out of firewood. But, perfect. I mean, we ran out right when we needed to run out of firewood. So she's right on that one. The town events and the holidays, we did the holiday bazaar, but I was really happy to see one night I was coming home and one of the officers was out kind of policing traffic and there was a parade coming through for Hanukkah. And I was like, that was really cool seeing something other than what I'm used to seeing happening, coming through. And it was really cool to see that. So hats off to them for supporting any and all religions that come through the town. And then last but not least, we are coming into a new year. We've just come into a new year. And we always got to remember the good and the bad of the previous year to make sure that we continue to do the good things and reflect on the things that were not so good and to make sure we don't go down those paths again. So I do that as a person, just personally, I do that every year. I mean, professionally, I do it. And now I've got this council thing too. I want to do it there as well. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you. All right, Councilman Baker.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to thank God, first of all, and thank you to Danica, who came out, Senator Josh and Maria for coming out, and then also give a shout out to the police department accreditation. That's a huge thing for them, staff, and them to get done for the town, and they put a lot of hard work and it pays off. 2026 is here, ready for a new year and see what happens with town, and a lot of big things are happening, and then I think we have a strong council team here, and excited to see what happens. But yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, Councilperson Dean.
All right, I would also like to congratulate our police chief and the police department for the accreditation. Job well done. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Casanova.
Well, I'll take the balance of your time. How's that?
I yield to the gentleman from Haymarket Station.
So So yes, want to thank Senator Rome and Delegate Thomas. I think we're in very good hands with both of them as our representatives. Look forward to working with them, and we'll see what transpires in the General Assembly and whether in fact they're going to be calling upon us for any support. And I hope that we're able to do that as we have in the past. Want to also thank Marie Pinto. It was a great presentation. I'll say it again. Get outside. It's good for your insides. It's a great facility. And I think if you haven't been there, try to get over there and check it out. It's right in our backyard. More importantly, I just want to congratulate the chief and the Haymarket Police Department and everybody that supported their effort at certification. And it was interesting. He said earlier that that's one of the things we hired him to do in 2020, 2021. And it's finally come to fruition. Just an amazing thing, perseverance, hard work, dedication, and really very proud of what they have accomplished. Now the hard part, because now they have that standard and they're going to have to maintain that and every year get a little bit better. So good for them. And one last thing, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I have to dig out some information on it a little bit more. That the USPS, our postal service, is changing how they postmark mail. I don't know if anybody's heard about that. And it could impact ballots if they get in so late. Because what happens now is you put a piece of paper or a letter or whatever in the mail, it gets postmarked typically that day. Now they're changing the process until it gets processed within their system. And that could take 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 days. So it could have an impact on billing. If you're still like me and you do paper billing sometimes, sending somebody a check or some other authorization. So I'll try to dig something out and maybe we can get that out to our community as well.
I'm waiting for some checks.
Yeah, but it could have a major impact. It could have a major impact on loans and all kinds of stuff. So just be aware of it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Councilperson Anderson.
Everyone has this probably the same theme tonight with the New Year's and remembering the having the council members come up here. I would like to recognize that we did have a Prince William County representation here too, with our district representative. If I could only remember his last name, George Stewart. There we go.
Supervisor Stewart.
Supervisor Stewart. Also, Chief's not here, but when he was going over his report, the drone grant, the heat grant, I mean, their efforts in trying to bring other revenue through here, I just would like to recognize that. Besides their certification, I mean, they're just a sharp team. Yep. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thank you, staff, for your participation.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Well, in the interest of time, I will just say ditto from what everybody said. But I do want to call attention to a happy New Year to everybody. Obviously, well done, police. It's incredible, and it was incredible to to have the representatives here to call them out and to call out our community. One of the things, and I kind of heard this with Delegate Thomas, spoke about this a little bit, and I've heard a few different kind of themes tonight about really supporting our youth in the area, and this is a cause that's I'm pretty passionate about it. I think most people who know me. So I was invited to something that's going on this Sunday to represent the town that I think I'm going to accept, but I wanted to call attention to it. I had no idea that this organization existed. But it's a group of local youth, high school students in the area have formed a TEDx Haymarket Youth, which is basically TED presentations that are done by about youth regarding community issues and what their beliefs and feelings on them are. I've been invited to attend their event on Sunday at Piedmont Clubhouse. I would welcome anybody who would like to join me. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. I'm trying to as I like to say, speak with management at home to clear my schedule to participate in this. But I really want to call out these youth that have formed this event under license to TED. These presentations will then be broadcast on the TED network on their channels. But I'm extremely curious, and I want to commend them for doing this. Particularly, it is a specific organization. It is TEDx Haymarket Youth. So I want to specifically call them out, and I look forward to meeting them on Sunday. And that's all I have.
That's awesome. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Well, I would like to say a very happy 2026. Spent the weekend kind of mapping out the new year, being reflective of the past year. Not only looking forward to what you can do, but please understand where you have come from and what you have accomplished in 2025. The accreditation is, I mean, I'm just beyond proud. And the word that kept formulating in my mind was authenticity. And that is something that I treasure in this town, within the staff, within this council, and within the police department. So the community policing is real. And I really appreciated Coco with Officer Finley. That was nice. We watched The Grinch in the afternoon, and the fact that Officer Finley had not seen the original Grinch until that day. I'm like, boxes and bows and bows and boxes. It was amazing, but it was really nice to see the different groups together from the morning session to the afternoon session. The Holiday Bazaar, thank you. It was amazing. Julia, everybody did such an amazing job. I enjoyed myself immensely. The Santa ride was just incredible. I feel like I'm a 5-year-old little girl every time I'm on that ride with Santa. So it's really, really nice. I would like to highlight Leopold's Preserve and their 139th birthday that is coming up, correct? Was it 139? Okay. So, and then mental health, always. I think that that's very important. So that was mentioned by Delegate Thomas. And just outside of, I'm very proud to serve this community and to be a part of this town. So happy 2026. With that is.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Woo.